Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have a sharp game to share with you from 1955. On the white end, Dmitry Rovner playing against a 19-year-old Mikhail Tal. A Tal who is playing the French defense. So let's see how he handles the French. Tarrasch, knight f6, e5. Let's get some standard moves in here. Challenging the center. It's reinforced. This tension, when is it released? Not here. Knight c6, knight e2, not here either. We continue with queen b6. In what way might black benefit by maintaining this tension? Well, if you capture right here, let's say, before playing queen b6, if you capture on d4 and then play the queen out, there is a new option available for white to defend d4, knight f3, very healthy. Another option is knight b3, not the most comfortable square for a knight, but this is another way you could consider playing it. New location available to the knight. All right, how it is playing out in this one, tension is maintained, queen b6, and from here, knight f3. Nope, knight b3, not an option with the c pawn still around. There'd be a fork. So knight f3 it is, and finally, we see the tension resolved, and this lead pawn challenged, overtaken, recapturing, a few more standard moves coming in here. Knight falling on a good square, castles, rook on a half-open file, bishop d7. From here, we're going to repeat a little bit. Knight b5, bishop back, knight c3, bishop d6, and white does not repeat here, continues with bishop g5. Now, if white was going for knight b5 again, I doubt Tal would be going for a quick repetition. You could consider moving forward, throwing a punch at the rook, avoiding a repetition. We don't see that. No knight b5 here. White continues to develop. Bishop g5 it is. From here, rook a to e8 is played. Why not take this b pawn? If you take the b pawn, your queen gets trapped. Let me show you what this looks like. If queen takes b, there's knight a4. Only two safe squares for the queen. Let's say she goes first to a3. There's bishop c1, queen b4. Eventually, white can force this situation where the bishop gets to d2 with tempo. And now what? Your only safe square would be a3, but only temporarily. The following move will question the queen on a3, a quiet move. A quiet move with rook e3. And now what? Right around the corner, a bishop move, and the queen is toast. So do not, as black, take the b pawn. It's poison. We have rook a to e8. From here, rook e2 is played, securing the second rank. Best move, however, is to drop the knight in the center. Now, I want to draw some attention to this line right here with the knight playing to e5 and the queen capturing on b2. The queen capturing on b2 in this position, she is not going to get trapped. I'm going to look at a few moves from here. Knight b5, a4, bishop captures knight. Two of the three are losing. Knight b5 is the best path for white. Let me show you what this looks like. Bishop takes knight, pawn takes, knight g4. Looks odd. You're giving up a full knight here. But in the end, there is knight takes e5. Hitting a lot of stuff. Bishop, queen, knight, f2 under fire. All that said, it still prefers white with this best move, bishop captures pawn, calling it close to +1. Okay. In what ways can white go wrong in this position right here with these moves included. Check out this one. If you try to swipe the knight, remove the defender of the bishop, this would be losing to queen takes f2 and rook h6, and there isn't a good way really to handle the threat on h2. h3 doesn't cut it. There's rook takes h3 there with mate to follow. Finally, why is the queen maybe not in this position here getting trapped? If knight a4, you can now take on d4. Now proceed with caution. Taking this d pawn, you are asking for the thematic sacrifice on h7, unleashing a discovered attack. At the moment, the queen is defended by the knight, but the knight is not a reliable defender. What would you be doing as black after knight takes knight? Not recapturing because of that trick. Black would be winning with only one move. It's a pretty one. Queen g4. You could welcome this queen exchange despite being down a piece. It's not that great of a material deficit. 2 pawns for a knight imbalance. This is winning for black. Look at all the stuff that's kind of hanging here. Both knights, bishops. What do? If you exchange queens here, you have a couple other points that are coming under fire. Queen g4 is a saving move, only winning move. Okay, how it plays out in this one after the rook is on e8, rook e2, pop quiz. How would you continue here? Feel free to pause the video. All right, top move, knight g4, h3. The reason I gave the pop quiz one move sooner, if I gave it to you at this point, it's crying out to be played this following move, in exchange sacrifice on f3. The follow-up from here is knight h2. Now, even better than knight h2, it points out collect the d4 pawn, target the rook, and keep the knight around for just another moment. Don't allow this rook to step up to try to secure f3. The top line from here runs with f takes g, allowing this fork. At the end of this line, it prefers black. An evaluation approaching -1. Imbalance here, pawn, bishop versus rook. We can also, of course, factor in the health of each king. Very weakening for white with these 4 holes. Nice grip over f4. Okay, how it plays out in this one, we do not have the capture on d4, knight h2. King g2 is the follow-up to try and cover f3. It says better is rook e3, preparing to meet h6 with f4, and a pawn takes bishop with queen h5. It's pretty sharp, of course. All right, in this one, we have king g2, knight takes d4 now. Follow-up, rook e3, h6, bishop backs off, bishop f4, and we're now going to be seeing a Pac-Man continuation. We just chop, chop, chop away. In the end, white is resigning here. We have bishop captures rook, knight on h takes f3, bishop takes bishop, knight takes bishop, check, king f1, and now queen takes b2. That's move 26. White resigns. What are you supposed to do? Main threat, mate in 1. There's also a threat on the knight. How do you handle these 2 threats? Let's see. Let's test out a few moves here. Knight e2, queen e1, and the capture of the bishop. They all fail. Let's see what this looks like. Looking first at knight e2, there's knight captures knight, queen captures knight, queen captures rook. If pawn captures bishop, there's knight g3 check, mate next. King e1, knight g2, king g1, queen g2. Okay, what else to try in this final position? Let's say queen e1, that runs into bishop d2. You're going to lose material, no problem. On e6, you could always just sidestep. Everything is going to be hanging in the end for white. Finally, what is happening in this final position after pawn captures bishop? We would have checkmate in just a handful with queen g2. Pick your favorite knight to dive into f3, and checkmate to follow on d2. So a brief game here. Tal playing the French defense, taking down white in only 26 moves. Your thoughts with this one? Feel free as usual to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.